Yes, you guys, welcome back. I'm in the FC, this is Blue Lions TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys a match with a 1-0 win against Malmo in the Champions League tonight. Now, our goal came courtesy of Ziyech, who scored the only goal today, and to be honest, I'm a little bit surprised because we created some great opportunities, and I'm looking at Kai Havertz today, who definitely should have done a lot better with this finishing up front today. But regardless, the tapping that Ziyech scored came from an excellent flowing counter-attacking move created by Kai Havertz and Hudson-Odoi. And for me, the only reason why this goal even became a thing to begin with is due to the great tactical tweaks made by Thomas Tuchel. In that second half, he had to make those changes. He had to move Hudson-Odoi to the right-hand side. He moved Ziyech to the left-hand side, and normally I like to touch upon this later on, but to be honest, I think it's one of the most decisive parts of the game because, I was looking at Hudson-Odoi playing down the left-hand side a lot in that first half. The first half, I felt like we saw some great individual moments and, we looked good, decent, but we wouldn't have that consistent attacking threat that you want to see. And I felt like a lot of times maybe it came from our poor wide play because we weren't really seeing Aspi or Alonso really getting in behind as much, stretching the play. And of course, I think I saw something on Twitter about how Tuchel said to Hudson-Odoi, listen, I don't want you near Marcos Alonso. And of course, if you put the jokes aside and try and think, okay, what is the tactical reason behind why Tuchel swapped these guys to begin with? Well, I think it comes down to something that Tuchel said earlier this week. And yeah, it's correct, of course. I think we already know this already, of course. But it's the fact that the wing-backs really are more wide midfield players. I think that's the reality. Our wing-backs, they're not like classic style like full-backs or wingers who have that type of pace to exploit teams and going behind. As we're seeing more and more now, our wing-backs are the ones who have the freedom to, roam inside the box and find and create shots and opportunities. So of course, when you have someone like a Marcos Alonso, who we know for a long time has been that black hole in which, wingers just can't really seem to play alongside him, that's because Marcos Alonso wants to be the guy inside the box. So if you have Hudson-Odoi who's looking to receive in the spaces and, cut inside and turn in, if Alonso already receiving there, it's not really going to work unless one of these guys is going to play for the team. So it was the correct decision to make. In that second half, I saw Alonso playing more in fields, and it was Ziyech who was out wide looking to receive passes, cross, create, etc, etc. And this was the right move to make because the second Hudson-Odoi moved to that right hand side, we had pace in behind, we could stretch him. That was the most important thing, and that's how we got the goal. And it's a very long-winded answer, but for me, this is why I really appreciate Thomas Tuchel, because for me personally, I just love learning new things. I like understanding why managers, do certain strategies, tactics, etc, etc. And if Tuchel never did that, I'll be scoring the goal in that manner today. Absolutely not. Now, of course, you guys, now that we've got the goals out the way, I'm going to discuss the players, Loftus Cheek, Hudson-Odoi, Kai Havertz, many more, as well as important moments for the game as well. So I hope you guys definitely do enjoy. Smash that like button. And I want to tell you guys that I'm looking to come back now and make a lot more content. I feel like I'm a lot healthier now. I'm feeling mentally better. I really give credit to my girlfriend who's been very supportive of me over these past few months as well too. And all you guys as well too have really been backing it and supporting it too. It does mean a lot. So appreciate bottom of my heart, you guys. But now, soppy stuff out of the way, let's get back into the game. We discussed the lineup, and yeah, I think this is a lineup that we all kind of guessed was going to be used today. Alonso and Azpilicueta as wingbacks. I think there's definitely interesting questions though about the long-term capabilities of both of them, because I do feel at times sometimes we maybe waste a little bit of time in the first half before coming in strong in the second half. At times you can't always rely upon that, you can be affected by it, but it has been the story of our season so far. Decent first halves, and in the second half that's when we really come to alive, and that's when we really create the spaces and damage and exploit teams even more. So no surprise that was the same energy that happened in the game today. And I think for me, one of the players today that was literally a testament to everything good about how we played today was RUBEN Loftus Cheek. That's the reason why I've been never giving up on this guy. Never giving up on this guy. You never give up on people who don't give up on themselves. For me, it's just simple football economics. You know what I mean? If you're going to use a midfield player as a cam and further up front and out wide, and of course he's not going to do nothing. That's not his game. And I tweeted this earlier. I felt like those really annoying comments that came from Mourinho back when like Ruben was like 19, when I think in a friendly game pre-season he criticised his like work rate and endeavour. At the time, you know, everyone was like, yeah, you know, Mourinho, he's a guy, he knows what he's talking about. Blindly just listen and follow, support, whatever. But I think sometimes we forget that, you know, all these managers, they have their own different personality quirks and they have their own interpretations on how they see the game and see things. I thought it was absolute nonsense, and it kind of created this myth that you could never play Ruben in midfields. And since then, I saw guys like Gus Hiddink, you know, just came in to smoke his cigars, did absolutely nothing, didn't ever do anything different with him. Antonio Conte came, never played him in midfields, used him out of position up front in a dead way. And it was only until Maurizio Sarri came and was like, listen, obviously you're clearly a great player. That's why you're always one of the best guys in training. You just have to work on your defending off the ball. You know, it's a shame that, you know, not every player gets that luxury of having a manager that's also a coach that looks to improve you and get you to challenge yourself and get better. And yeah, you know, then injuries come, and of course, fast forward to the future now, and we're seeing Loftus Cheek showing the same form that he showed in the 18-19 season. And that's because he's playing in his best position. I mean, this myth that he could never defend, he had no legs, blah, 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 blah. Listen, you're not going to have Ruben pressing high. When we defend off the ball, we use a mid-block structure. You don't have to press from the front foot like that. He's not the guy to do that. But have him in a structure as the same structure that Kova, Jorginho, and many other players have benefited from playing in, he won't be any different. And wow, what a performance from him today. It's a massive shame that he did not get an assist he deserved today after, on 2 occasions, creating something out from nothing by himself with his own ingenuity, his class, his brilliance, and his ability to just, you know, just his mastery of his body. Like, I've not seen a guy his height was 6'3". The way he moves and dinks past people, that quick first touch, that acceleration, it's mad. And there's a reason why he's very unique as a player. I can't really think about it. Maybe Goretzka is like another guy that reminds me of Ruben a tiny bit, but other than them two, I can't think of no one else. But today, wow, what a player. And it's this type of like individualism that I think big teams like us really need, because it gives a lot of confidence. You know, whenever Ruben was receiving on the half turn, either flicking a ball over an unrushing opponent, beating the press expertly, or just using his body to shield the ball, do a little nice Cruyff turn and then attack the spaces, it just encourages guys to run off the ball. It just encourages movement. And this is why it was disappointing that Kai Havertz did not score today, because his movement deserved it. And if you score from that, of course, we see the performances in a completely different manner. But for me, you guys, it's quite obvious that Loftus Cheek, for me, is going to have a big part in this season. 100%. He's getting better and better and better. And I guess just from like a interesting like conversational point of view, of course, he's not really playing the same way under Sarri, because, you know, he is playing with more discipline, playing in the 2. Of course, he can do that. But at the same time, you know that he has the ability to consistently attack more. So we'll see what happens. I thought it was interesting that in the second half in particular, he definitely had a lot more license to push forward of Jorginho, and no surprise that he created most of our best opportunities in this game today. So you guys, Loftus Cheek is back, what a player, and England caps soon come, man. But regardless, we now move on, and a few other players I want to discuss today. I want to talk about Ziyech. I thought that today's performance was quite decent. It was all right. Of course, took his goal very well. Some good creativity, some good dangerous crosses inside the box as well, and his link up was quite good too. Of course, at the same time, I'm not going to be too patronizing, even though I think that Malmo definitely competed today. They definitely rose their games today. You can still see the lack of quality from them at times. I think there was one moment in particular where their defender, who was their best player for me, Ziyech or whatever at the back, he played this nice little like disguise, disguised reverse ball to their midfielder, Innocent. And if Innocent was like a great player or a good player or a player of like our standards, he receives on the half turn and he quickly turns that pass into a new attack. But he controls the ball with his weaker foot, which means that he then has to play the ball backwards, which meant that that attacking phase was completely ruined. And that's like the difference. When you have someone like a Ruben, who literally his bread and butter is to receive on the half turn and attack and make things happen, it just adds new dimensions to how we play. And yeah, this is it. Ruben, keep up the intensity, the work rate, and I think as the season goes on, if he stays injury free, I think he's going to be in the first team, to be honest, you guys. But regardless, before I do end with things, I do want to discuss Kai Havertz in more depth and detail. You know, this wasn't a bad performance at all, not at all. But at the same time, maybe it's my personal feeling. I want to see a little bit more. But this is where I'm quite puzzled right now, because I see so many reasons as to why we're seeing this current Kai. For example, the role he's playing. We'll say it's a false 9 role, but deep it. That game earlier this week when Brighton played against Man City, you know, we saw Trossard playing as a false 9 too, but when he played false 9, he wasn't going man v man against his defender. He was in the spaces. He was, you know, not anywhere near a defender. You know, he was looking to revert into the spaces behind their fullback. And this was how Kai Havertz used to play that false 9 role at Leverkusen in particular. And for me, maybe this is like his best position in that sense, because, you know, Kai is the type of guy that can play the final pass. He's a guy that has the acceleration to get in front of his man. He can score with his head. He can score with either foot. He can create. He can get past his man. And I feel at times with how he plays for us, you know, we don't get to see all the good things in his games consistently. You know what I mean? Like, for example, yeah, he played the pass to Hudson-Odoi today. That was him doing the false 9 thing, dropping deep, playing that pass behind with great weight. Kai plays passes with amazing weight. But at the same time, I guess, you know, the needs for the team is to have a 9 that can also win aerial balls and compete against a defender, but they can also drop deep as well. So I guess it's like, you know, when you have this hybrid role, it makes things more difficult in that sense. And it's getting me thinking, is this why maybe Kai isn't as confident as he normally is in front of goal? Because he's not getting like that consistent chance made for him. You know, I watched his goals at Leverkusen, a lot came from the right hand side, and of course teammates that definitely understood how to give the balls to him and how to play to him. But I definitely think the system benefited him a lot more too. I guess the reality is that Kai is still young, and maybe playing in this role, he needs to have more patience. Just like we had patience for guys like Tam Abraham, for example. You know, looking at how he is now compared to when he first started playing for us, you can see the improvement. I guess maybe this might be the same thing for Kai Havertz if he's gonna continue to play this like offensive role for Thomas Tuchel. But I don't know. I see lots of flashes of glimpses of good plays, not brilliance consistently, and I see a lot of like balls being given away or poor decision making or, you know, poor shot selection, etc, etc. So, you know, I definitely think that I would like to see like Kai fully unlocked. I don't know what would need to happen in the system. Me personally, the time that I really liked Kai the most was when Lampard was a manager. He was playing as like a box-to-box midfield player. I could see the vision, the potential, and what I liked about that role is that I was seeing Kai doing everything he wanted to do. You know, he was playing the passes in behind. We saw them. You know, he was getting inside the box. He had that goal threat. He was linking up front with the strikers as well too. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. Of course, he's a very good player. He does need more time. But I don't know, I still feel like we need to do even better to bring that consistent quality out from him. So you guys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.